Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey creepy, yeah, that's my style. Creepy crawler, Kimiko's vibe. We laugh at the dark, find joy in the fears. In a world full of noise, I'm in a smoky room, filled with gloom. Hell is here, podcast doom.
Hello, all you creepy crawlers, and welcome back to another episode of the Blowing Smoke podcast with Kimiko Kusanagi. Today we're talking about something small but mighty, the Chickagunga virus. It's a name that sounds kind of like a tropical dance, but trust me, this virus is no party. It's carried by mosquitoes, and it's been causing havoc in tropical and subtropical regions. And we're also going to talk about the Nipah virus as well. Bats. So light up and listen in. Alright, let's start with the basics. The Chickagunga. And say it with me. Chickagunga. It's really fun to say. It's a viral disease transmitted to humans by infected mosquitoes. Specifically the Aedes aegypti. I am gonna butcher the crap out of that. It's a species. Now, these are the same mosquitoes that spread dengue and Zika. So they're basically the overachievers of the mosquito world. The name Chickagunga comes from Kimiko language, spoken in parts of Tanzania and Mozambique. And it roughly translates to that which bends up. I can think of a few other things that could probably fit under the Chickagunga. That which bends up. Ha 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 ha. Well, why they call it this? Because the virus can leave you in so much pain, you're practically doubled over. The virus itself is a RNA virus from the Togaviridae family. Don't worry, I won't quiz you on that. I'm probably going to forget it in the next 5 minutes anyways. It was first identified in 1952 during an outbreak in southern Tanzania, and since then has popped up in over 60 countries across Africa, Asia, Europe, and the Americas. The thing is, this global traveler is not booking first-class tickets. It's hitching rides on mosquitoes. So what happens when you get it? The symptoms hit hard and real fast within 2 to 7 days after a mosquito bite. We're talking high fever, intense joint pain, muscle aches, headaches, nausea, fatigue, and sometimes a rash. The joint pain is the real kicker. It can feel like your joints are screaming at you, and for some people, it lingers for weeks, months, even years. It's not usually fatal, but you can make sure that you never just don't wish that you ever get bit by a mosquito like anytime soon. Now here's a fun fact. Chickagunga doesn't spread directly from person to person. You cannot catch it by shaking hands or by sharing a drink. Thank goodness for that small mercy right there. But if a mosquito bites and an infected person and then bites you, well, then you're in for a rough ride. Let's put this into perspective, okay? So 2005, a major outbreak hit the Indian Ocean islands, particularly Reunion, where about a third of the population, over 250,000 people, got infected. Fast forward to 2013, and Chickagunga made its way to the Americas, starting by the Caribbean. In 2015, it had spread to over 1 million cases in the region. This virus does not mess around when it finds a new playground. So what's the big deal about Chickagunga anyways? So why should we care about this virus? That's mostly in, tropical areas. Well, for one, globalization and climate change are giving Chickagunga a bigger stage. Those Andes mosquitoes, or Andes? Andes mosquitoes. They love warm, wet environments, and as the planet heats up, their range is expanding. Places that used to be too cold for these pests, like parts of Europe and southern US, are now fair game. In 2017, Italy saw an outbreak with over 400 cases, which was a wake-up call for Europe. And here's the kicker. There's no specific treatment or vaccine for Chickagunga. If you get it, doctors can give you painkillers and fluids to manage your symptoms, but you're basically riding it out. For most people, the fever clears up in a week, but that joint pain, it can stick around for an unwelcome like an unwelcome house guest from anywhere from days, weeks to years. Studies suggest that 20 out of 50% of patients experience chronic joint pain for months or even years. And imagine trying to open a jar of pickles when your hands feel like they've been through a meat grinder. Not fun. Now let's talk about who's mostly at risk. Like literally anyone can get Chickagunga, but it's especially rough on older adults, people with underlying health conditions like diabetes or heart disease, and sometimes even newborns, if their moms are infected during pregnancy. In rare cases, it can lead to severe complications like neurological issues or heart problems. Though deaths are, uncommon, less than 1% of cases usually end up in death. But here's what really gets me: the economic and social impact. In places like India or the Caribbean, where tourism and agriculture are big, Chickagunga outbreaks can tank local economies. People can't work, hospitals get overwhelmed, and tourists stay away. During 2006, an outbreak in India, some estimates pegged the economic loss at over like $1 billion. There's a lot of smoke to blow through. And let's not forget the mosquitoes themselves. The Aedes aegypti, or the Aedes aegypti, are sneaky little vampires. They bite during the day, and unlike some mosquitoes that come out at night, you can't just hide under a blanket. Plus, Aedes aegypti, aka the Asian tiger mosquito, is super adaptable. It can breed in tiny amounts of water, like a bottle cap or a plant saucer. Your backyard could be a mosquito Airbnb, and you wouldn't even know it. Alright, so Chickagunga sounds like a nightmare. But what can we do about it? Let's talk prevention and progress. Since there are no vaccines yet, though researchers are working on it, the best defense is stopping mosquitoes in their tracks. Think mosquito repellent with DEET. Pick a carton or oil of lemon eucalyptus. Wear long sleeves and pants, especially at dawn and dusk, when these mosquitoes are most active. And don't forget to dump standing water around your house. Those bottle caps and old tires are mosquito nurseries. Communities are stepping up too in places like Singapore and Malaysia. They have gotten aggressive with their mosquito control programs. Think fogging with insecticides and releasing genetically modified mosquitoes that produce weaker offspring. It's like a sci-fi movie, but I guess it works. In Brazil, during the 2016 Zika outbreak, they used similar tactics to cut down on the Andes populations. And it helped with Chickagunga too. Now let's talk research. Scientists are racing to develop a Chickagunga vaccine, and there's some promising stuff in the pipeline. As of 2025, a few candidates are in late-stage clinical trials. One developed by Valneva, and it's showing strong immune response in phase 3 trials, and over 98% of the participants developing antibodies. The catch? It's not on the market yet, and regulatory approval can take time. Still, it's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's also work on antiviral drugs. Researchers are exploring compounds that could stop the virus from replicating in your body. but we're still years away from anything that you'd find at a local pharmacy. So for now, it's all about symptom management and keeping those mosquitoes at bay. One cool thing I came across, some places are using tech to fight back. In Australia, they've gotten drone programs that stop mosquito larvae in hard to reach areas. Freaking drones, really, against mosquitoes. It's like Top Gun for public health. So where does Chickagunga fit in the grand scheme of things? It's part of a bigger trend, emerging infectious diseases. As we travel more, urbanize, and change the climate, viruses like Chickagunga, Zika, and dengue are finding new homes. It's a reminder that humans and nature are locked in a constant dance, or maybe a wrestling match. What's wild is how interconnected it all is. A mosquito in Tanzania can bite someone, and a month later, a tourist in Miami is sick. Global health isn't just a buzzword, it's a reality. That's why organizations like the World Health Organization are pushing for better surveillance and rapid response systems. If we can catch outbreaks early, we can stop them from becoming pandemics. But here's the thing. It's not just about science, it's about people in places hit hard by Chickagunga. Like rural parts of India or Africa, access to healthcare is a huge issue. You might have a fever and joint pain so bad that you can't walk, but the nearest clinic is like miles away. That's where community education comes in, teaching people how to protect themselves and recognize symptoms early. Looking ahead, I'm cautiously optimistic. The vaccine trials are promising, and mosquito control is getting smarter. But we've got to stay vigilant. Climate change isn't slowing down, and neither are any of those mosquitoes. If we don't act, Chickagunga could become a bigger player in the global health game. So what can you do? Check your backyards for standing water, use repellent, and if you're traveling to a Chickagunga hotspot, like parts of the Caribbean or Southeast Asia, be extra careful and maybe give your local public health folks a shout out. Well, that's it for Chickagunga. Now let's go ahead and move on to the Nipah virus. This sounds like something that crawled out of a horror movie. Ever heard of a bat-borne bug that can kill up to 75% of its victims? So, alright, let's get to it. What's the Nipah virus thing? Picture a zoonotic virus, meaning it jumps from animal to humans. That's carried by fruit bats, aka flying foxes. We're talking a nasty pathogen that can cause everything from mild fever to brain swelling encephalitis that can put you in a coma faster than you can say bat soup. It's part of the Nipah virus family. It's super contagious, and it has a fatality rate between 40% and 75%, depending on where you are and how good your hospital is. It spreads through contact with infected animals like bats or pigs, contaminated food like date palm sap, with bat spit, or worst case, person to person through bodily fluids. No vaccine, no cure, just supportive care to keep you breathing. It's like nature's way of saying, humans, stay in your lane. And why should we care? Because it's a WHO priority pathogen with pandemic potential. If that doesn't make your skin crawl, I don't know what will. So let's hop in the time machine. Nipah first popped up in 1998 and 1999 in Malaysia and Singapore, hitting pig farmers really hard. Nearly 300 people got sick and over 100 died. And they had to cull 1 million pigs to stop it. Brutal. Then in 2001, it showed up in Bangladesh, linked to drinking raw date palm sap contaminated by bats. Since then, Bangladesh has seen almost yearly outbreaks, and India's been hit too, especially in West Bengal and Kerala. Kerala had about 9 outbreaks since 2018, including 4 cases in 2025 alone. 2 in, I'm gonna butcher this name. Malappuram. Okay, and 2 in Palakkad, with 2 deaths. In 2018, Kerala outbreak was a wake-up call. 19 cases, 17 deaths, and this thing doesn't mess around. And it's not just a one-off and it's a reoccurring nightmare in South and Southeast Asia. How does this virus wreak havoc? It starts with fruit bats, those cute but deadly flying foxes that carry it without getting sick. Humans get it from direct contact with bats, pigs, or contaminated stuff like the fruit or the date palm sap. In Bangladesh, people got sick from drinking sap that bats peed in. That's gross. Person-to-person spread is rare but real, especially in hospitals through respiratory droplets or bodily fluids. Symptoms? Well, they hit about 4 to 14 days after exposure, sometimes up to 45 days. You might start with a fever, headache, cough, or sore throat. Sounds more like a bad cold, right? But it can escalate fast to confusion, seizures, and encephalitis, aka brain inflammation. Some people end up in a coma within 48 hours. Oh, and some people are asymptomatic but can still spread it. No wonder it's a clinician's nightmare. PCR is the gold standard for testing, but you need high security labs to handle it. Here's why Nipah keeps scientists up at night. That 40 to 75% fatality rate is no joke, way higher than most viruses that we deal with. It's not as contagious as COVID-19, but human-to-human transition, especially in crowded places or hospitals, is a real risk. Kerala's 2023 outbreak had a non-social economical spread, meaning it spread in healthcare settings, and there's no vaccine, there's no approved treatment, no antivirals, no ribavirin or remdesivir show promise, and monoclonal antibody called M102.4 is used in emergencies in Australia, but that's all experimental. Plus, fruit bats carrying Nipah are literally everywhere. Asia, South Pacific, and even parts of Africa. Climate change and habitat loss are pushing bats closer to humans, upping the chance of spillover events. And get this, a new study suggests that it might even be airborne in some cases. Yikes. So how do you fight a virus this scary? Kerala's been a champ at containment. They traced contacts like nobody's business. 723 people were monitored in the 2025 outbreak across 5 districts. They've got route maps for infected patients, movements, special teams for contact tracing, and alerts to the hospital to watch for symptoms like acute encephalitis or respiratory distress. Prevention? Wash your hands. Avoid bat roost areas, and don't drink raw date palm sap. Boil it first, and wash fruits thoroughly. Discard anything with bat bites. Healthcare workers need hardcore PPE, or personal protective gear basically, airborne precautions, since hospital spread is a thing. There's also One Health approach linking human, animal, and environmental health to stop spillovers. Oh, and the Oxford's working on some vaccine, now in phase 1 trials, which got fast-tracked by the European Medicines Agency in 2025. Fingers crossed. Nipah's mostly stuck to South and Southeast Asia, with no cases in the US as of now. But global travel and climate change meant it could pop up anywhere. And who says the risk of international spread is low for now, but reoccurrent outbreaks in Kerala, 9 since 2018, now it's just not going away. A milder, more contagious strain could be game changer. And undetected variants might already be out there. Kerala's health system is top notch, catching cases early, but other regions might not be so lucky. And with bats testing positive for Nipah antibodies in places like Cambodia and Madagascar, the virus's reach is bigger than we really think. This is a global wake-up call. Alright, creepy crawlers, Nipah virus. Nature's horror story, or just another bug that we can handle? I'm leaning towards more terrifying and manageable, with enough brain power. Would you sip that date palm juice? I'd stay the fuck away from that. Knowing bats pee in it and stuff? What the hell? No. I'd stay far away from the bats. So leave a thought or comment below. Like, share, and subscribe for more. And that's it for this episode. You stay creepy. Like Kimiko Kusanagi, okay? Bye!